Acute liver failure in India has distinct characteristics. We all are aware that acute liver failure is an infrequent, unpredictable clinical sequelae of acute liver injury who doesn't have any previous history of liver disease and is recognized by onset of encephalopathy subsequent to acute liver injury manifesting as icterus. And usually coagulopathy is frequent in this patient. Acute liver failure globally has heterogeneous etiology. However, in India, it is a homogeneous etiology. Accordingly, the interval between onset of icterus and encephalopathy has been variably described from various regions of the world. In India, it has been described that encephalopathy in most patients occur within 4 weeks of onset of icterus, whereas American Association of Study of Liver Disease described this icterus encephalopathy interval up to 26 weeks. In West, the etiology is heterogeneous, predominantly due to drug, autoimmune disease, and metabolic diseases, whereas in India, it is predominantly due to hepatitis viruses. Because of heterogeneous etiology in the West, subclassification of acute liver failure has been suggested as hyperacute, acute, and subacute. Hyperacute as those who presents with encephalopathy within 1 week of onset of icterus, and acute as those who presents with encephalopathy after 1 week but within 4 weeks, and those with encephalopathy beyond 4 weeks are called as subacute acute liver failure. Irrespective of this differing definition, ALF mortality frequency is high and varies between 50 to 75% in various reports. Because icterus encephalopathy interval is uniformly 4 weeks in India, Indian National Association for the Study of Liver defines acute liver failure as a clinical syndrome characterized by encephalopathy, jaundice, and prolonged prothrombin time, developing in a patient without any history of pre-existing liver disease within 4 weeks of onset of symptoms, particularly icterus. However, a few patients presenting with severe acute liver injury, mostly due to drug-induced liver injury, may develop encephalopathy after 4 to 8 weeks. In India, the predominant cause of acute liver failure are hepatitis viruses A through E. Unlike in the West, where paracetamol, NSAID, and metabolic diseases are predominant cause of ALF, the drug causing ALF in India are predominantly anti-tubercular drug and complementary alternative medicine, that is indigenous drugs and Ayurvedic drugs, which are common causes of drug-induced liver injury. Hepatitis E, non-A, non-E, and hepatitis A virus causes acute liver failure in India in about 40 to 45% of the patients. Hepatitis B, C, and D are very infrequent. Recently, rat poison containing yellow phosphorate has been isolated or identified as one of the major causes of acute liver failure in South India, which is consumed for suicidal intent, and yellow phosphorus is a rodenticide which is commonly available in Indian household. Interestingly, during epidemics of hepatitis, particularly hepatitis E virus, as well in sporadic setup, it has been documented that acute liver failure more often occurs in pregnant females. In most reports from India, females constitute more than 50% of acute liver failure, and about 1/3 of them have been reported to be pregnant. Most of the causes of acute liver failure in pregnant female is hepatitis C. Up to 60% of pregnant females with acute liver failure are indeed due to hepatitis C. However, the mortality in hepatitis E virus-induced acute liver failure is not high. Rather, it is lower than other causes of acute liver failure in pregnancy. Therefore, termination of pregnancy is not recommended, unlike in acute fatty liver of pregnancy. Clinically, these patients present with distinct features. They are usually young with a median age of 25 years with female preponderance. And as I told, icterus encephalopathy interval usually is less than 4 weeks. And at the time of presentation, the present with advanced encephalopathy in about 3/4 of the patients. And at the time of hospitalization, half of them have cerebral edema. Because of innate immune paralysis in acute liver failure, infection is quite frequent. And in Indian patient, in about 40 to 50% of patients, infection has been documented after hospitalization, which has been associated with higher mortality than those patients who didn't develop infections. Renal failure and gastrointestinal bleed in acute liver failure in India is infrequent and usually is less than 15%. And the natural course of acute liver failure in India is quite short and stormy. Either they survive or die within 5 days. And the mortality depends upon the etiology. Hepatitis E virus has the lowest etiology, and the admission prognostic factor, which predicts mortality. There are many conditions in India which mimics acute liver failure due to hepatitis viruses, like falciparum infection, dengue viral infection, scrub typhus infection, and leptospira. However, they can be specifically diagnosed by using specifically laboratory tests available for them. We all know that liver transplant is a definitive curative option for patients with acute liver failure, those who are likely to die of this disease. Therefore, identification of these patients who are likely to die based on a prognostic model is important. Various prognostic model has been described globally, out of which King's College criteria, Clichy model, and model end-stage liver disease score are very frequently used. However, these prognostic models has low specificity and sensitivity in Indian context. In India, as I told, that hepatitis virus over naive liver without any pre-existing liver disease causes acute liver failure, and hence they have a potential regenerative capacity, and all independent predictive markers at baseline which predicts outcome changes over 2 to 3 days. And therefore, in a large study, it was identified variable over 3 days, which are very important to predict mortality, are hepatic encephalopathy, which has been persistent from the beginning or progressed after hospitalization to advanced hepatic encephalopathy more than grade 2 of West Haven criteria, or the INR is persistent or increased to more than or equal to 5, or arterial ammonia from the start or over 2 days period or 3 days period has progressed to 123 micromoles per liter, or serum bilirubin on day 3 is more than or equal to 15 milligrams per deciliter. Each of the above variables were independent predictor of mortality at baseline as well as on day 3. The discriminant value and cutoff value as mentioned for each variable were determined by a receiver operated curve. Because these variables change rapidly, probably due to regeneration potential in each individual, the day 3 parameter of each of the above variable had better predictive capacity than in day 1. Their odds ratio is much better on day 3 in comparison to day 1. Each of the variable on the day 3 hospitalization carried a score determined on the strength of the beta integer of odds ratio identified in the multivariate analysis to predict mortality on day 3. On the day 3, a score of 4 is associated with 90% mortality, whereas score 1 was associated with about 5% mortality. With increasing score, the mortality increased. Score 4 on day 3 has 80% or more survival, and with a score 4, 80% or more died. The score was further validated in another independent cohort with ALF having similar baseline characteristic with similar management protocol. Therefore, using this Alfred score, which provides a distinct score from day 1 to day 3, on day 3, you can stratify these patients based on the Alfred score, which varies from 0 to 6, depending upon the 4 variables mentioned earlier and the cutoff value for each variable mentioned earlier. You can see in this slide very distinctly, patients with score less than 4, that is between 0 to 3, has about more than about 70% survival. Whereas patient having score 4, 5, and 6 has mortality more than 70 to 80%. And hence, since this dynamic score changes over 3 days, it can predict also survival if the score improves from worse score to better score. It was in a publication compared with other available prognostic model and was found on day 3, Alfred model was better, and the ROC curve defined a AUROC or area under curve larger than other available prognostic model in Indian context. The management of acute liver failure in India remains similar to the rest of the world, with predominantly aggressive supportive therapy and control of and removal of precipitating factor associated with bad outcome. We use prophylactic broad spectrum antibiotic and antifungal because of more frequent infection in them, and used to maintain their nutrition, treat their cerebral edema, and there are many newer therapies and offer them liver transplant as well. In summary, I will say acute liver failure in India is predominantly due to hepatitis viruses. Anti-tubercular drug and complementary alternative medicine are important cause of drug-induced liver injury associated acute liver failure. These patients in India are young with a predominant female preponderance. Pregnant females with viral hepatitis are at high risk to develop acute liver failure. Survival frequency with expectant management as per Indian National Association study of liver guideline is about 50 to 60%, with lower mortality in hepatitis E virus induced acute liver failure as well as in hepatitis A virus induced acute liver failure than other etiologies. Recently described dynamic prognostic model have been recommended to be suitable for Indian patient. Liver transplant is offered to acute liver failure patients in India, and disease donor liver transplant is the predominant mortality with a reported 1-year survival of 80%.